This is what happens when you point a Jeep at the mountains. I spent a week driving passes in the San Juans of Colorado. If you like watching off-road adventures with iconic obstacles, shelf roads, and epic views, then you're watching the right video.
And smash the tub. This is what we just came down.
Can't see over it all, right?
He stalled, wiped out, fell, his helmet flew off down the mountain.
This is us airing down at the trailhead on day one. But before we go any farther, let's rewind to the beginning of this adventure and how we got here. I took a 20-hour road trip covering 1,300 miles from southeast Wisconsin to Silverton, Colorado. Before the trip, I installed a new Clayton Off-Road Overland Plus suspension lift with track bars, control arms, springs, and Bilstein shocks. Then I hit the road, following my friend Jesse, who drives a 2025 JL Willys XR Edition. I made it to Colorado, picked up my brother in Denver, and we drove down to Silverton, where we set up camp and were ready to hit the trails the next morning. Make sure you watch till the end of the video because I'll give you all the details and routes for how you could run this trip for yourself. There was no set trail order going into this trip. The forecast changed almost every day. Cold temps, scattered storms, and at one point there was so much rain in the forecast, I even considered bailing and going on to Moab instead of Silverton. So each morning we'd meet up, check the weather, and decide the plan for the day. On day one, the weather was cooperating. We wanted to start with something a little lighter to get our first taste of these San Juan passes. So we set out for Ophir, hoping to continue on to Imogene after a stop in Telluride. If you're new here, my name's Shane, and this is my channel, Seek the Open. My goal is to create and inspire off-road adventure. If that's something you're into, I'd love to have you as a subscriber. We approached the summit of Ophir Pass, and it's easy enough for any 4x4, but the terrain is unreal. It's millions of these shale rocks covering the mountain. The summit isn't a classic panoramic view, but it has these towering peaks that make it unforgettable and unique. The second half gets a little trickier, and it gave us a taste of what awaited for us on Imogene Pass later that day. I came into this trip with a few goals. First, I wanted to knock out all 5 Jeep Badge of Honor trails in the San Juans. Second, I'd never driven real shelf roads before, so I was kind of nervous about how I'd react. Third, I wanted to see how the Jeep and I would perform. I just installed the new suspension after wheeling it stock for years, and this was the first real test. The fourth was personal. My brother flew out from New Hampshire, and he'd never done anything like this. We don't get many chances to do trips together, so I wanted it to be memorable. Not just the epic views, but something we'd talk about years from now. The last goal was about chasing a passion. I'm a dad to a 1-year-old, and I've got an amazing wife at home. Leaving them wasn't easy. I miss them every day, but I needed to step away and do this. I want my daughter to see that it's important to chase experiences and push yourself outside your routine, even when life is full. And hopefully, one day, I'll take her on a trip like this. Keeping this hobby alive is part of making that possible. I want her to go after her passions, whatever they are. Drop a comment and let me know why you go on your adventures. What inspires you? And if you can relate, like the video. One thing I was keeping a close eye on throughout this trip was how my BFG KO2 all-terrain tires would hold up. Right from the start, Ophir was a serious test. The shale rocks are jagged and sharp, and there's drop-offs lining the whole trail. But I knew the real tests were still ahead. I'll share my thoughts on how they fared over the entire adventure later in the video.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, have a good one.
Motorcycles coming up.
All right, yeah, I got some room to my left, so I'm just gonna stay here.
And with that, we left Ophir behind, one mountain pass in the books. Next was Imogene, which promised to be a longer, steeper, and more demanding trail. As soon as we hit Imogene, the color started to change, and that would become a pattern on every trail we drove. Each one looked completely different. Unlike forest trails where everything starts to blend together, you'd climb one side and see one type of landscape, and then descend into something completely different. Right away on Imogene, I started tackling one of my goals, shelf roads. The sheer drop-offs were intimidating, but they didn't bother me. The trail had enough room that as long as I stayed focused, there wasn't much chance to make a mistake. My brother captured a lot of the footage from the passenger seat while I was locked in. I kept the Jeep in 4-low, manual mode, shifting the gears, staying engaged, eyes on the trail. Heights aren't my favorite thing, but here, it didn't faze me. I wondered if I'd be able to handle them on every trail, and later in this trip, that would really be tested. I saw the switchbacks of Black Bear Pass carved into the mountainside. This would be a challenge that we hope to tackle later in the week. Imogene Pass isn't just a route for thrill seekers. It's a trail carved from ambition and grit. Back in the late 1800s, miners were chasing silver and gold high in the San Juans, and this pass became one of the toughest ways to move ore between Telluride and Ouray. Imagine hauling heavy loads over sheer cliffs and jagged rocks with nothing but horses, mules, and determination. The trail itself still bears the scars of that era. Old mine remnants, rusted carts, and the occasional abandoned cabin tucked into the mountainside. Every twist and switchback is a reminder of those risks miners faced just to get their fortune out of the ground. It's easy to drive past thinking it's just epic scenery, but back then, this was one of the most dangerous jobs imaginable. Today, it's a bucket list trail for off-roaders, but it carries a legacy of adventure and American relentlessness. Right up ahead was the peak of Imogene Pass. It felt like the first big milestone of this trip. We are at the summit of Imogene Pass, 13,114 feet. To the top of Imogene, and then there's another level you can go up to it. We came in from the Telluride side. It's a little windy up here, having you all bundled up.
Oh yeah.
All right, we're heading down that side. As we drove down, our plan was to look for and stop at a spot called Poser Rock. It's a small ledge that can barely fit a vehicle and has drops on all sides.
You can't see over at all, right?
No, no, not at all.
Even on here, I couldn't see over.
Yeah,
It's like top of the world.
right. Yeah, exactly. This area is top of the world.
You're good. Yeah, backs down. All right, you're good. I think you got it with the camera from there. All right, we are just descending now. There's just a couple of pretty steep drop-offs. Nothing too bad. You kind of just are billy goating it down the hill. Highly recommend this one. It's got just enough obstacles to keep things interesting. Quite the trail. Definitely worth the trip out here.
As we came off the trail, there was one obstacle that required a bit more attention.
today we are doing the Alpine Loop. We do have some weather coming in, like some thunderstorms or some clouds, some rain. Engineer Pass is an iconic trail. We have blue skies ahead of us, but these massive rain clouds behind us. So we threw the roof back on and we are proceeding down the rest of the trail. We had the freedom panels off. Had to put them back on. I'm glad we brought them with us.
Having a base camp in Silverton gave us the flexibility to choose our trail based on the weather. On this day, rain was in the forecast, and engineers seemed like the safer option, or at least that's what we thought. The catch? With all our gear back at base camp, we had to complete the full loop in a single day, no stopping to camp along the way. Our plan was to tackle Engineer and Cinnamon Pass using Animus Forks to connect back to Silverton.
What to expect with Engineer, and so far it's great. It's actually harder than I thought. It's still easy, but it's not a gravel road by any means. It's keeping us engaged, keeping us in a low gear. The views are different than any of the other trails. Obviously it's still mountains, but here it's like more open and just different colors, a little more green. Shelf road coming up right over there, it looks like. See that? Too bad. It's steep. Yeah, on the far left.
Need someone over here on the radio, make sure there's no one coming down.
Yeah, that's coming up. Is that a washout or a road? So that trail over there is I think it's a hiking trail, not part of Engineer Pass. Which now that we have this angle of it, you can see it's very tippy and steep.
At the top of Engineer, I was reminded why I love this. We were 3 major passes into the San Juans, and we learned about the history of the land and how it shaped the country. I was there with my brother and friends, doing something we don't get to do too often, and appreciating it for what it was. But this was still the easy part. The next 2 days would take us onto trails that needed more precise driving. Not anything to fear, just the kind that demand a little more attention.
Making our way down Engineer, Alpine Loop is great. Still blown away. I was thinking about selling the Jeep because I hadn't been able to use it much with other great things going on, which were amazing blessings as well. But the Jeep and this hobby was on the back burner, barely on heat. You know, I really did consider selling it, looked up the value of it, but I obviously didn't sell it because I didn't want to always wonder what could have been. And this trip is showing me what is, so that's great. Couldn't be happier with how this has gone so far.
Cinnamon Pass was stunning, full of wildlife, and ended with a fast, steep descent along the mountainside. It was a great way to finish the day. But the next trails, the ones ahead, were already on my mind. So far, I was liking the Clayton off-road suspension kit that I had installed before this trip. It was performing great. This was day 3. We planned to take Mineral Creek to Poughkeepsie Gulch. The wall was ahead of us, an iconic obstacle. Beyond it, a high-altitude lake and a lesser-known peak rising near 14,000 feet.
Your passenger's gonna come down. Just slow. These KO2s, man, they're gripping down. I keep thinking I might need some mud terrains, but then I keep not struggling, and I wonder and question if I need them. I guess we'll see, but they do really well. At some point, they do become a limiting factor for off-road, but it's all trade-offs. Do you want great on-road, fuel economy, etc.? How much does that matter to you? Versus how much does off-road matter, and then you pick your poison there. I think KO2 do a good job of balancing both. We got that. Winching there. It's a 4-door Rubicon. I think it's stock. He's got his winch hooked up.
Passenger. Keep going, passenger. Whoa. Come forward about that far.
Gotta listen to your spotter, people. What? This? It's steep. So you're saying, this actually, I'm thinking I'm getting my passenger here and then going up and trying to get it. Oh shit. Before I tear my ACL. Before I tear my ACL here. Getting my passenger in that notch right where Gavin's standing, kind of, and then wherever the driver tire falls as a result of going for there, because it's kind of steps on that right there. Yeah, there you go. You're in the...
Oh, keep coming. Coming. Give her. There you go. Keep moving.
You go. You go. Keep going, keep going.
You're stuck over here, Sam, so you're gonna have to back up a little bit.
Yeah.
Take it easy. Go back down. You're going to have to back all the way back down and start your line over again.
Nice job. All right, well, we got some hail.
We were past the wall, but with hail and rain falling, the next sections would prove to be just as difficult as we crawled through on our way to Lake Como. This was the type of terrain and conditions where an MT thrives, but I would be testing and pushing the limits of these all-terrains.
guess he went to the left?
Yeah. He's to the right.
No, but he went that way?
Oh, yeah. Just rode that dirt wall with his driver wheel.
All right, we stopped at Lake Como and I went for a swim in the water. It was cold. It was worth it though. What is it? Hurricane Peak. We're going to Hurricane Peak. It's supposed to have the best views.
If you like the video, give it a thumbs up and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next one. Tell me where you're from and where you like to wheel in the comments.
All right, we stopped to reach Hurricane Pass, 12,730 feet. Now we're going to Hurricane Peak. Looks like the Jeep's flying.
This was a long climb up. It had been about an hour since we'd seen anyone else out here, and it just felt like we were the only ones that existed. We kept climbing, and the view was worth it.
This is crazy. We're at the top of Hurricane Peak, over 13,000 feet.
There we are. Boom. Shane and Jesse. Doug's all the way up there. Boom.
We're going in manual 1 down this. We don't want to use hill descent because that may overstress the brakes. So we're gonna let engine braking run its course as much as we can and just use the brakes when we need to control the RPMs if they get too high. Some of the inclines are, 20 degrees coming down. The hill descent's great, but on something like this, when it's so long, I'd rather minimize or at least know how much I'm using the brakes. And by keeping it in first gear through the downhill parts, we can do that. This is what we just came down off of Hurricane Peak. Having the 2-door wheelbase was amazing. I only had to reverse on one of the turns because it got close to the edge. Otherwise, I was able to just lock it, not even lock it, just turn and the Jeep did the rest. They're so red.
The camera doesn't really, it picks it up, but not like the
Not
eyes.
really?
It looks red, but not like the eyes.
Look at that, it's red and then straight ahead over there it's green. We were just heading down and there was a dirt bike coming down, a Jeep coming up, and another dirt bike coming up. And the dirt bike coming down passed us by we let the Jeep that was going up go by us, and then this dirt bike was coming up. He was about 100 yards ahead of us, and he stalled, wiped out, fell. His helmet flew off down the mountain, and he stayed on, and so did his bike, but he's still down, and it's been about 5 minutes. There's a lot of people with him right now. I don't want to add to the chaos, so I'm just staying in the Jeep for now. The other motorcyclist, I'm not sure if he's with him, but he drove his bike down to a flat part, and he's now walking to get the guy's helmet, I believe, which rolled all the way down. Thankfully, he didn't fall himself, just his helmet did, but it popped off real easy. All right, Jesse has the man who fell on his bike in his passenger seat, and he's gonna bring him down. The rest of Corkscrew couldn't get up under his own power, and I think it's just an eye-opener to how unforgiving these mountains can be.
We were able to bring the injured motorcyclist down and leave him with his family. Make sure you stay safe out there.
Black Bear Pass. Might be a short day, but if there's traffic on Black Bear, if there's, who knows what, the weather also has to cooperate. It rained all last night.
Black Bear Pass would serve as the finale for this trip. One day that I'll never forget.
We are here, just hit the trailhead off 550, and we're making our way up. 11,000 feet and climbing. Everyone always films, obviously, the steps and the switchbacks on Black Bear, but I haven't seen at least footage reaching that point, so I'm not really sure what to expect. We are making it up a drizzly morning. So far, we're the only ones out here. The skies opened up, we waited out the rain, and the sky is blue. We're gonna proceed. We think it's just showers, little pockets, so we should be fine. We just didn't want to end up in a situation where we're on the one way and there's storms. We're rolling. Short wheelbase, that's us. All right, here we go. One way begins, no return. Good shot to Telluride from here. That's where we will descend down into.
Yep, you're good. Have your tire follow them tracks. And you can cut right anytime. You don't have to be crazy. Left front wheel right here. Cool. Now turn and come down. Okay, right front's gonna drop soon. Left front's gonna drop a little bit. Right front's gonna drop in 6 inches. Okay, cut hard down the hill. Cut down the hill. Cut hard down the hill. Doing good. Doing good. Right, left rear's gonna drop. Cut left down the hill. There you go. A little more sketchy. You're good now. You're good now, and you can cut. You don't have to be crazy. You're good. You did it. Good job, good work.
The steps were behind us, but the shelf road that was slick from the rain presented an even scarier challenge, but we were up for it.
Definitely just can smash the tub.
I thought I would try using hill descent control. It did the exact wrong thing. When my front tires dropped, it locked up all the brakes tight.
I don't want to know what that is. So we're descending on the rest of the path into Telluride. We are on the switchbacks now.
Come right up to me. Straight. Easy, easy, easy. Good. Cut it as hard as you can to the left. Back up and go there. Hit that. There, move that hard as you can. You got her there.
Thank you. You're good. That's wild. We were way up there about 30 minutes ago on those switchbacks in there. And we are done with Black Bear Pass. Crazy trail, not like anything else ever.
And with that, the trip was over. Everything that we set out to accomplish, we did, and we had a lot of fun doing it. I'll never forget this one. I hope you enjoyed watching. Make sure you're subscribed and you liked the video. I'll see you out there.